Welcome to Marie's Scrappy Creations, where we sew the scraps of your life into beautiful creations. You guys didn't think I'd let Thanksgiving come and go without a project, did you? Well, I have turkey fabric, so it's officially a Thanksgiving project. But in reality, you could make this for any season you want or for any decor. You can make it for a mixing bowl. You could make it for your KitchenAid mixer bowl. Maybe you have one of those and you'd like to have a cover. I like to use mine when I make, because it's winter now, I'm going to be starting my sourdough starter for sourdough bread and muffins. And this is perfect for that because it allows air in and out. Now this is double, so it's reversible. It's just not a thin product. Also, I want to stipulate that I know that there are many bowl covers that are made with beeswax. This is not one of them. I'm not a fan of it. I don't like to use it. Okay, so let's get started because this is really straightforward. I'm going to let you know what you're going to need to make this project. Now, I'm not going to show you how to do it for the jar. I'm just going to show you the bowl cozy, because whether you're making it for a large or a small container, it's the same method, okay? I guess I should tell you what my bowl measures. It is approximately 11 inches side to side. So I have my fabric prepped, of course. And it might not be the smartest idea to use a directional fabric, but that's what I have on hand for one side today, so that's what I'm going to use. You're going to place your fabric right side up, and then your second one right side down, so right sides are facing. So what else do we need? You're going to need a measuring gauge, or you could get by with just a measuring tape. I suppose you could do it with a ruler. You're going to need some type of marking pen that disappears. I'm using 1/4 inch elastic. I'm sure 1/8 inch would probably work. You need pins. I use 2 small safety pins. Well, not really small, but medium. Scissors, pinking shears, and something to turn things right side out. So let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is take the bowl that you want to cover. You're going to center it. Now, you're going to need 2.5 inches all the way around. So make sure that you have that amount of space before you start, okay? Just trace around like that. Then we're done with our bowl for the moment. Now you're going to take your sewing gauge, or you could do the same thing with your tape measure. I have it set for 2.5 inches from the edge. So I'm going to put that there, and I'm going to mark all the way around my bowl or my fabric. Because we're going to have to connect these, all these little marks. No worries, you'll do just fine. I know you will. I have seen tutorials that use 2 inches. I'm just not a fan. I like there to be a little bit more room. And I haven't given you a length for your elastic yet, because when we get to that part, there's definitely a method of figuring out your elastic length. So, okay, I guess we've got all the way around. So now you're just going to connect all your lines. You'll know where they are. You can see them. And if it's not perfect, believe me, you'll never know, because the elastic itself will cover a lot of issues. And you can ask me how I know that, because I've done it. Okay. When that is how you like it, replace your cap so your marker doesn't go dry. And you're going to cut along the outer line. I should have mentioned this, it's better to pin just enough to hold everything together. You just don't want this to shift while you're sewing. I apologize that I didn't mention that. All right. I had this fabric, the one with the white background underneath. I bought it at Martin's probably over a month ago, and I've been looking at it, trying to figure out what I could make with it. And then I thought about it. Wouldn't that make a pretty bowl cozy? That's what I call it. I know it's not a bowl cozy. Everybody thinks of them in a different way, but don't know. I just call it that. Okay. Guess it wouldn't hurt to leave a few pins in there. All right. This is so simple and straightforward. We're going to take this over to the sewing machine. The first thing we're going to do is mark it, because we don't want to sew completely around. We want to leave an opening. That is about, I don't know, 4 or 5 inches. You want to have an opening. We're going to use a 1/4 inch seam allowance. I'm going to use a 2.5 millimeter stitch length. We're going to sew all the way around to here. We're going to back tack at the beginning and the end. So I'm going to sew mine, and I'll come right back and we'll go on to the next step. Okay, so I sewed all the way around here. I'm going to remove the pins. Well, I shouldn't say all the way around. I left an opening. Being technical here, but we have an opening here. Okay, so we're going to turn this right side out. Now, you could use a turning tool like I showed in the beginning, or you can simply use your hand. But of course, if you're making the smaller one, you wouldn't have the space to do that. Now we're going to need an iron, because we want to get this all straightened out. And you might have to work at it a little bit, because some of the folds are going to not go where you want them to at first. Yeah, this would make a great gift too. You know, if you're going somewhere for Thanksgiving and you're taking something, you could gift the host and hostess a little gift. This wouldn't be a bad idea, would it? So you do it from one side, and I don't mess with any of that right now. I've tried it where I have trimmed the seam before turning it right side out. I haven't seen that it really makes any difference to the finished product, so that's why I did not trim mine. Okay, gotta make sure. That's what I thought. That wasn't completely straight or rounded. Okay, so I just turn it under a little bit and I finger press to get my shape here, which is, we'll close this up at the end. So this isn't really a huge thing. And just make sure that your edges kind of meet so you can sew over it later on. Once you get this kind of straightened where you want it. Just give it a little bit of heat. Flip it like a pancake. I really like that fabric. I really, really do. I think my KitchenAid mixing bowl needs a new bowl cover. I'm not going to call it a cozy. It's a cover. Okay, we'll turn the iron off. So the next thing we're going to do, now we're going to ignore the opening for now, okay? We're going to pretend that that isn't even there, wherever it is. We know it's there. So I'm going to take you with me, but we're going to go over to the sewing machine and I'm going to use a wide stitch, probably 1/2 inch or a little better. And we're going to go around. And for this one, I'm going to use, again, a 2.5 millimeter stitch length. All right, so let's go see what that looks like. And here we are at the sewing machine. I've switched from my 1/4 inch foot to my universal foot. And we're still going to ignore the opening that we have here. Okay, I'm going to use the last, there's a mark over here. I'm using that last one. Whatever size it is, I'm not big on using those, but either way, I am butting this up against the mark furthest to the right on the bed of my sewing machine. I'm going to put the needle in the down position, back up. I'm going to pull my top thread until the bobbin thread peeks out at me. Whoops. Grab the wrong end of it. Tuck it down behind there. Going to back tack, and keeping this against that line, I'm going to sew all the way around. Okay, so let's take a look at the bowl that you're using. You're going to take your tape measure and you're going to put it where the elastic is going to be. Okay, so mine was 29.5 when I did this, not filming. Somewhere around in there. All right, 29.5. I'm going to cut a piece of 1/4 inch elastic that is about 4 inches shorter than that. Okay, so I wanted about 24 inches. Right, so once you have your elastic cut, you're going to use one of your pins. And I told you that I use 2. I'm going to show you why I use 2 as soon as I find my opening. I hit it well, didn't I? There it is. Okay, I'm going to get this started. I don't use it immediately. I start feeding the elastic through this channel that we just made. It doesn't take very long. I was thinking when I was thinking about this tutorial earlier today, thinking about how you could make it with another channel and make a ruffle, which would be really cute. And, you know, sometimes you just need a little bit more ruffle. You could also add some lace to the bottom or to the edge of this, and that would probably work out well too. You can always make it your own. You could always applique something onto the front right in the middle that it would stay there and look really good on the middle of your bowl too. Okay, before I get too nervous and go too far, I'm going to do this. I'm going to poke this. I'm going to pin it here so that when I get close, I don't have to worry about that end coming through into the middle. When I do that, where'd my pin go? There it is. I lost it for a moment. As I film this, it is 5 days before Thanksgiving. So there's a lot of prep work to be done. And when I make my rolls, I always cover the dough with a cloth And if you have a cloth bowl cover, then you don't need to do that. You don't need to use a dishcloth. You can have something pretty sitting there. And take that and take this end, and you're going to overlap like this. Okay, so we're going to overlap like this. I like to pin this before I take it over to my sewing machine, which is how I'm going to do it. You could hand stitch this elastic if you so choose. It's your bowl cover, you do what you want, but I am going to take it to the machine and go back and forth a few times right there, and I'll meet you right back here. Okay, that's what it looks like, and it doesn't have to be perfect, and it isn't because it slid. All right, so I straighten it out a little bit. Next thing is I'm going to pin this opening before I take it back over to the sewing machine. I always mark my beginning and my end so that I kind of know when I'm sewing where it is. And all we're going to do is sew very close to the edge. I go about 1/16 of an inch from the edge all the way around. Now you may choose to just close your opening and call it a day. It's your bowl cover. You do what you like. I'm going to go all the way around this, and just for the fun of it, I'll take you with me. Okay, now I am still using a 2.5mm stitch length. I have moved my sewing needle over to the right a little bit just to make it easier. If your machine doesn't do that, just stitch close to the edge. It'll all work out in the end. And I'm going to back tack a couple of stitches. And then I'm just going to sew all the way around close to the edge. Okay, it's all sewn around. Let's try it on the bowl. Look at that. It fits like it was made for it, doesn't it? I hope you're excited to make your own. And you know, you can cover anything you want. It could, maybe you have a casserole dish that you want to cover. You know, you just never know. But yeah, I'm glad I picked up that fabric. I really think that's adorable fabric. And of course, it's all reversible. So whichever way you want it. Now, maybe you want to get a jump on the holidays or Christmas holiday. So you want to make some Christmas fabric. Maybe ones with Christmas fabric. Maybe you want to do them as gifts and you could match someone's kitchen decor. Maybe they use sunflowers or roosters in their kitchen and you have some fabric like that. It would just be adorable. Plus, you can gift things in these jars. You could go on Pinterest and get a million ideas of little gifts that you can put into mason jars to give as gifts. And then you could make a very pretty top. And this is reversible as well because I made it in the same method, even though I used the same fabric on both sides. And you know, it kind of looks like a shower cap. So I had to throw that in there. I thought that was funny. But listen, I want to thank you for hanging out with me today. I know it was a quick video, but sometimes that's just all we need is a quick tutorial. So I hope you give these a try. I hope you have fun. Don't overthink it. It is really just as simple as it looked. Sew a few up. See how you like them. And thank you so much for hanging out with me. Please like the video if you liked the video. And if you did like it, please think about subscribing. And until next time, be kind out there. The world needs more of that. See you next time.